My name's Steve Spohn. I'm the Chief Operations Officer of Able Gamers. We are an international charity that combats social isolation, fosters inclusive community, and bolsters the quality of life for people with disabilities through the power of video games. Our entire mission is essentially to help people to find ways to stay connected, even if there's a giant global pandemic or it's just a disability that might be keeping you from going to the local club. I personally have a disability called SMA, spinal muscular atrophy. I have had my disability since I was born 40 years ago. It is a terminal condition that will one day kill me. Until then, I am going to keep doing my best to do some good for the world, as we all should. Able Gamers was started by a wonderful man named Mark Barley. His sister from another mother, Stephanie Walker, has MS, and an MS flare-up took away her ability to use the computer. And they used to play a game called EverQuest. For those of you out there who remember EverQuest, it was back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But we used that kind of gaming to stay connected. They would play every Friday night until one Friday night when they went to play and she wasn't there. And he would come to find out that MS had taken her ability to use the mouse, and she wasn't sure she'd ever get it back. And fortunately, she did, but that scary day let him in on the vision of Able Gamers, of a place that everyone could go and they could come for information about playing with a disability and how you can conquer those challenges and barriers if you're just shown the way to do it. Well, I had my 40th birthday during the middle of the global pandemic, and as we all know in society, when you hit the big 4-0, you're supposed to do something big, like jump off a building or out of a perfectly good airplane. The year previously, I had reached out on social media and made friends with Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock, as some people know him, and that was pretty cool. But how do you top that? Well, the only way I could think to do that was to shore up the organization that I have poured 15 years of my blood, sweat, and tears into. I just simply wanted to reach out to the internet to say, hey, I know that I'm not going to be around forever, and with this pandemic, especially affecting people in my situation, maybe I'm not going to be around for that much longer. In case I'm not, let's make sure that this thing that I have been trying to help get off the ground forever has a really good foundation from which to keep building. And the internet just took to it like magic, and within a few days we had raised a couple $100,000, and from there more and more people kept joining on. And in streaming, not everybody thinks about the thousands and thousands of other streamers out there that don't have 100,000 people watching them every day. And what about those people? They're all amazing, and there's some really good people in there that have really good hearts. What if we brought all of them together and we gave them an opportunity to get behind the same cause and the same initiative? What would happen? Well, we found out what would happen. We would raise $1 million together. It's been amazing having people react so strongly on social media. It's been really, really heartwarming, but also there hasn't been a lot of trolls or a lot of people saying negative things. Occasionally, the mean person here and there, but predominantly people have been very receptive to not only my personal story. Yes, it's one thing for me to go out there and say, hey, I have a terminal illness, will you give a couple of dollars to support the thing that I love? But we found that a lot of people then would look into why I was asking this support, why I was asking for gamers with disabilities to be supported, and people found out, wow, there's 46 million potential people in just America, there's 9 million in Canada, there's more than X amount in the UK and in Germany, and etc., etc. And the further out you push out, you're adding more and more people, and then you realize there's a lot of people with disabilities out there, and there's a lot of people that need help. A lot of that stems from, we're often overlooked as a minority. People getting angry about benefits or entitlements, people getting angry because this person gets something and they don't, and the negative feelings of the internet. And instead of worrying about, what people perceive as being disabled, they really heard how video games can help people with disabilities connected to the world, and they really took to that. And so it meant a lot to me, not only that the campaign validated people's views of how gamers with disabilities should be integrated into society and allowed to connect with one another, but with the entire world. So I was very honored to be one of the leaders of this amazing campaign. For me, video games became more of something I would do to connect with others when I was a teenager. A lot of my friends were just getting at that age where you start going to the non-alcoholic clubs, with the loud music and the dancing, and obviously in a wheelchair, it's dancing is not my favorite activity, but I do love listening to music. However, the local club here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, was called the Zoo, and the Zoo had my mortal enemy, the one stair, and I couldn't get my wheelchair over that one stair. And so I really had to start finding alternatives to hanging out with friends. So some people wanted to still go to the club every night, and as much as you can when you're a teenager, they didn't want me to be excluded, but they wanted to have fun themselves. So I didn't hold it against them that they wanted to do that, but I did need to find something else that I could participate in. And that was really when I found online video gaming, things like Ultima Online, that I could go and I could play, and I could have essentially a second life where I was, playing with a guild of people, or I was going with a group of people to slay a dragon, or, fight some monsters. And that became my club. That became where I would go for rest and relaxation. And I just kept falling into groups of people. And, for me, that's really what let me know that video games were much more than the game. Sure, it's fun to go and beat up on some computers in Mortal Kombat, or, go and score some soccer balls in FIFA. You're welcome for me calling that soccer. And the main part for me was the connection to the other people. It was learning how I wasn't really addicted to the game. I was addicted to my friends that were in the game. You could tell this as a gamer, because if your friends stop playing, your interest level in the game will drop like a rock. And for those of you who are not gamers, it's really easy to see, because whenever you want to play something, you look for whatever your friends are doing. And so gaming is not just this thing that the media likes to tell you, where you're on your phone just staring at it for hours on end. It's actually a place where you can connect with other people, and what Able Gamers does is allow people to make that connection through technology. I was absolutely floored when we finally ticked over the $1 million. We had started going for that September 15th, 2020. So it was just about 11 months after I started the goal that we reached it. And, again, what a spectacular show of unity from the community. Just people coming together and giving what they can. In some cases, just sharing the link with friends and family, even if they didn't have a dollar that they could afford to give, because these are hard times. I think we all understand that. But one of the greatest feelings for me was, not leaning on the resources of the charity, just having this be a grassroots effort of people trying to do good for other people. And so I'm very happy that the community, saw this cause, came together, rallied behind it, and it really made me feel good that people could identify with, sympathize with, and empathize with the plight of the disabled gamer. And here we are, where we've reached 1 million. I have other ideas for what we want to do next. I'm not quite ready to reveal those plans, but in the coming weeks, I hope that people will be happy with what is continued in the Spawn Together initiative, as well as I hope that people are proud of where the money is spent at Able Gamers. People can go there right now and still contribute, whatever you feel that you can afford, and it all goes to the same great cause. It takes millions of dollars to be able to run an organization that hopes to help the entire world. And, we can only reach so many people with the funding we have so far. So, every dollar is always appreciated, no matter whether it's given during a campaign where someone like me is trying to reach 1 million, or someone out there is trying to raise $200. It all goes to the same place, which is helping people with disabilities be able to participate in the thing we love, video games. I love me playing some Rocket League. That's one of my favorites at the moment. I'm also someone who likes any kind of community game, so my community loves playing like things like Jackbox and Overwatch, and things where we can be kind of competitive and friendly together. It's always about trying to have a good time with the closest people to you. For me, I like playing things that bring me closer to my friends as opposed to laughing at their downfall. Although there is a time and a place for that too.